What's up, this is MLB Talk 123. I wasn't expecting any big deals to be done today, but I was wrong again. The Diamondbacks and Blue Jays have made a very interesting trade, to say the least. If you think about this trade, I just wasn't expecting this. As you see, for the Diamondbacks to acquire Aaron Hill and John McDonald. If you are unfamiliar with either of those players, Aaron Hill has hit 36 home runs in his career. He was an all-star a few years ago. He's had a very solid career. Now, he was hurt last year a little bit, and he's come back this year, and he just hasn't been the same. He's batting low 200s. Then you look at Kelly Johnson, too. He's still batting low 200s. Yes, he has 15 home runs, and when he gets hot, there's not many players in the game that can hit just as raw as he can. So, as a second baseman, he has a lot of power. And remember when he was with the Braves, he was a pretty big prospect, and he had a lot of potential. And they deal him to the Diamondbacks, and the last few years, he has definitely kind of panned out a little more. Each year, kind of getting better and better. Again, a few years ago, hitting 28 home runs. But this year, definitely having a bit of a down year offensively, but he can be very, very good. Now, if you look at this trade for the Blue Jays, Aaron Hill has an $8 million contract option for next year that the Blue Jays weren't really intent on signing. And then John McDonald. Now, this is a shortstop that has fantastic defense. That should definitely help the Diamondbacks out. If you're a Blue Jays fan, probably a little unhappy to see John McDonald go, but you have, Escobar, so, John McDonald has gotten some time playing, though, and he's a subpar defender at shortstop, and that's something that a Diamondback, Steven Drew went down on injury, and he's going to be out for a long time. And he's out, he's just been hurt back and forth this year. And they've had to use Willie Bloomquist at shortstop, and he's also had to play right field, or outfield this year. And if you play fantasy baseball, remember he was one of those waiver guys to get for a little bit. This guy is just a utility guy that's had a solid year this year for the Diamondbacks and really helped them out at short this year filling in because, it'd be really tough. It'd be very tough for the Diamondbacks to replace Steven Drew defensively, offensively. So he's done a good job, but they need a defensive shortstop if they want to make it to the playoffs. And I think, it's interesting last year, the San Francisco Giants trying desperately to get in the playoffs. They were way back at the time that they made these August deals, waiver deals and all that. And the Diamondbacks really going for it. And Kevin Towers may not be done. He said, quote, not the exact quote, but he was talking about he's going to be calling until the phone stops. So pretty much he's going to be looking at any trade deal that could potentially help them for right now and maybe next year. But this is all about the next 2 months here. This is about getting to the playoffs and winning the World Series. And for the Diamondbacks to just get in the playoffs, that's going to be a huge boost to this organization. The fact that it's just been failing the last few years, and it was very good a few years ago, but the last few years, very disappointing, and no one expected the Diamondbacks of all teams to beat out the Giants in the NL West. Going into the season, I was a big fan of the Dodgers going into the season for NL West. Excuse me, I didn't think the Giants would have a repeat. We see it a lot with World Series teams, but again, the Giants are just one of those teams that they never stop fighting, and it's kind of like torture, like they describe it. I mean, it's just right at the last minute, they'll come through and win a game. With Brian Wilson hurt now, and we'll see what happens. But and Carlos Beltran, their offense just not getting it done. But for the Diamondbacks to be able to be in a position where they're game up, they need to make sure they maintain that. To get to get Aaron Hill, he's only 29 right now. He has a lot of potential still, and I think a change of scenery will be very good for him. He has struggled in Toronto this year. I think if he goes into a playoff atmosphere, it's going to show the best out of Aaron Hill, and I think Arizona will get the best out of Aaron Hill. I think they will get exactly what they paid for. Kelly Johnson going to be a free agent after this year. Arizona not really looking to re-sign him anyway. And even if they do, they could still re-sign him. This is just for 2 months, and they feel Aaron Hill and John McDonald definitely give them a better chance to win for the next 2 months. Now, the interesting thing is Hill has had a worse batting average than Johnson. Let's see, some other details about this. Let's see, he has an $8 million club option. As I mentioned, it's expected to be declined out of season, obviously. He will be a Type B free agent. So if you're thinking about the Blue Jays side of it, he's not really getting much out of this. You know, Kelly Johnson going to be a type B, unless he thinks that Johnson might be able to be a type A and then offer arbitration, then have him decline it, and then get a draft pick out of it. You know, not getting much out of it to have to give up John McDonald and Aaron Hill for Kelly Johnson. But, you know, who knows what his motives are here. And maybe Kelly Johnson comes to Toronto, loves the city, loves the fans, loves everything about it, and resigns. And hopefully cheaply for Toronto. Because Kelly Johnson could be a part of the long-term deal, really. You have guys like Brett Lauer, Yunel Escobar, Colby Rasmus, J.P. Arancibia. First base, you have, I'm drawing a blank right now. I always think of Lyle Overbay right away, but no, I actually saw this guy in a game. Then, of course, Jose Bautista, how could you forget him? And then if you got a guy like Kelly Johnson, they really have just a solid all-around roster. And then pitching is, coming up and getting better and better, and Kyle Drabek will get better and better. So, I like the deal for the Diamondbacks competing, getting Aaron Hill and John McDonald, definitely going to be helping defense and see what they can do in Arizona. The deal for the Toronto Blue Jays, I also, it's okay because the fact that Aaron Hill is going to be free agent is kind of just like who would rather have, Aaron Hill or Kelly Johnson. And I think they feel like maybe Kelly Johnson will like in Toronto, and at least for this 2 months, they'll have just a really solid infield, which they have with Aaron Hill, but he just really struggled this year. I think a new change of scenery for both players will be good. Very interesting move, though. The fact that, Kelly Johnson, of all people, has moved to, not a contending team. He's moved to Toronto. And then Aaron Hill and John McDonald moved to Arizona. So Arizona really making moves to try to push themselves over the top, get into the playoffs, and hopefully get far in the playoffs. This is going to be a very exciting year for Arizona fans, especially if Aaron Hill does well and this team gets in the playoffs. Great for the city, great for the organization. I think Kevin Towers really realizes this is a prime chance. With guys like Justin Upton, Chris Young, they can just be playoff heroes. They can be remembered forever in the history books. Coming up, young players, getting it done. Whatever's going to happen in the playoffs is going to be a very interesting one. But all I know is this is a very young, exciting team. Offense is electric. Pitching is getting there. Jason Marquis injury not helping there. But their offense is absolutely electric. And Kelly Johnson, if he's hot, he can be fantastic. So Aaron Hill, excuse me. He's hit 36 home runs before, and he could do it again. So obviously this year has been a struggle for him, but he hopes to regain himself when he joins a contending team in the Arizona Diamondbacks. Thanks for watching LMB Talk 1, 2, 3.